Welcome to Family Basics 101. I'm Dr. Bruce McClure, and as we continue our five-part series entitled Marriage Is, today we will speak directly about marriage is surrendering selfishness. The word surrender means to relinquish or give something over to another. Surrender also means to give up this in favor of that. Surrender means to yield in order for another to proceed forward. In order for surrender to occur, however, there is the assumption that the individual is in possession of that which they are called upon to relinquish or to surrender. When we talk about the word selfishness, it is defined as an asphyxiation on one's personal advantage in matters of relationships, possessions, attitudes, etc. Selfishness is defined as a concentration on one's personal pleasures as well as being a focus on self to the extent that there is no regard about the needs of others. So you're looking at a concentration on one's personal pleasures and their own well-being, but there is no concern at all about the regard of the needs of others. Selfishness is defined as arrogance, conceitedness, boastfulness, vanity or vain thinking, self-glory, an overconfident, falsely placed confidence in oneself, a hauntedness about an individual, narcissistic thinking and narcissistic behaviors, presumptuousness, high-handedness, pride, a superiority of one's personal self, a self-worship and idolization of one's own person, and a self-love. The person is infatuated not with others, but with themselves. Marriage calls for individuals to surrender selfishness. Marriage is a call for individuals to let go of the control of themselves and to allow those self-centered attributes to become no part of a newly found marriage. Selfishness destroys relationships. Selfishness destroys homes. Selfishness will mold children into bitterness. Selfishness will cause children to grow up and oftentimes either become very selfish or they will despise the very scent of a self-centered person. Selfishness is the thing that allows a person to be so concentrated about their daily moment-to-moment needs that they are oblivious to others around them. They are oblivious to the hurts of others. They are oblivious to the needs of others because the self-saturation is into myself, my needs, my wants, my way. And those are the things that marriage is calling for every individual to surrender, a surrendering of selfishness. In the book of Jeremiah, chapter 48, verses 28 and 29, there are some verses that address selfishness and define selfishness and the demise, the consequences that follows self-centeredness. O you that dwell in Moab, leave the cities, dwell in the rocks. Be like the dove that make her nest in the sides of the hole's mouth. We've heard of the pride of Moab, that's selfishness. He is exceedingly proud, more arrogant, more proud than people around them. His loftiness, he lifts up himself. He sees nothing wrong with his behavior. This is a whole city, a whole nation, the Moabites. And his arrogance, from day to day, from moment to moment, it's escalating, and no one will dare approach the Moabites about how chaotic their self-centeredness is. And the inhabitants of the city are expected to develop a healthy relationship in such a town. And the pride of the Moabites and the haughtiness of the heart. Each one of these words, pride, exceedingly proud, loftiness, arrogance, his pride and his haughtiness. And then the text says, of his heart. It's the way they think. It's the way they process life. It's the way they see others. And it's the way they have made up their thinking, their mind, that this is just the way of the world. You look out for yourself, even if it means walking over, mistreating, manipulating, using people. Selfishness must be surrendered in the marital relationship. I want to go back just for a second to the list of selfishness. Boastful, vain, self-glory, overconfident, narcissistic thinking, narcissistic behavior. What we know about narcissistic personality disordered people, they have no emotions. They have no remorse. In fact, they can take things away from you. They can abuse you. And they will say, it's your fault that I did this to you. Narcissistic thinkers are selfish individuals. They are presumptuous. But in the marriage is the surrendering of selfishness. Now, back to the text of Jeremiah chapter 48. O you that dwell in Moab, leave this place. You'd be better off dwelling in the clefts of the rocks. And you'd be better off like a dove that make her nest in the sides of the holes in a mouth of the rocks than to be in a relationship where it is driven by selfishness. Marriage calls for every couple to surrender selfishness. It will destroy a nation and it will destroy a marriage. I'll see you back in class again next time. Don't be late and don't skip class.